Hi, this is Kimberly Reuter, business advisor and supply chain expert, and welcome back to my podcast, The Morning Mood. We are back again for our Freedom series with Tiana, and today we are going to be talking about the freedom from perfectionism. If you follow me on LinkedIn and a couple other channels, you may have seen that Alex Rosales did a podcast with me, and he pulled out a little short about me talking about my struggle with perfectionism and how that showed up.
Mm,
And the lesson that I had to learn in order to be a better leader. So for me, what that was is that in order for me to accept other people not being perfect, I had to be able to accept that I wasn't perfect. And that kind of came off as sort of like a bit narcissistic and kind of like, I'm amazing. But it more came from this like constant drive and tape that ran in my head that was, you can do better, you can do better, you can do better. This is not enough. This is not enough. This is not enough.
mhm,
And as a leader, especially in a high stress environment like Amazon, that showed up like me putting that on my people and carrying that perfectionism, that desire perfectionism down. And of course, that wasn't fair because nobody's perfect, including myself. So that's what my struggle with perfectionism was. Tiana, how about you?
for me, it was, I gotta get it right because I can't hurt the people who love me. So I have to get my A's, no less than a B.
Yes. I don't want to
Everything has
disappoint anyone. Yeah.
correct. Everything has to be in order. The whole works. So, um, and then when I stepped out of my local schools and into other environments, it was there weren't many that looked like me. So if they
Mhm.
so I've got to do as good or better than everyone else. So
I got
the
to go
pressure
extra.
was almost something I put on myself. But it
Mhm.
definitely has lived in me. And I have to it's
Mhm.
a intentional check process that I have to do. But that's
Right. And I think you and I both actually actively manage it to this day. It's something that we have to like, so for me, like my perfectionism, I think, for me, when I'm stressed and feeling out of control and things are going crazy, right? Like I try harder, right? So more perfectionism, perfectionism, more perfectionism. And for me, it got to the point like I couldn't enjoy a vacation, right? Because the color in the cottage was not the right color, or it was just because in I got to a point where it was like in order to give myself permission to enjoy something, it had to be perfect, and if it wasn't perfect, not worthy.
so here's the thing,
Same.
just this week, in one of the courses that I'm taking, the
Yeah.
instructor literally says and she constantly says, "You can't perfect until you produce." So
Oh,
no matter
absolutely.
so no matter what it is, like you can't get better or be better at a thing unless you try it. At least you get out there and actually do the thing. So it's like, what are you hiding from? Get it done.
Right.
Let it
So
with
let's dig in on that a little bit because
please.
perfectionism shows up in a lot of different places, right? So for me, perfectionism just shows up just driving harder, right? Just like more, more, more. I can do it. I can do it. And this like intense guilt and shame. I remember OP1 document review was like, oh, like, you had to, like, pre-drug for it, like, it was excruciating. You were definitely taking drugs after. The smart people took drugs before, but it was excruciating having, like, 42 people go through your document and argue with you over colons, right? Like, or or whatever.
Ridiculous.
Excruciating because my expectation was it was perfect. I expected that my document was gonna be, like, perfect.
Yep.
So
Yep.
there's that perfectionism, which is that like just driving yourself insane, right? Mental
Yeah,
breakdown.
of course.
Right.
Of course.
And then
Severe.
there is the perfectionism that of procrastination, which is never moving forward, never trying, never because you're waiting for it to be perfect. So let's
Or
talk about
right.
that because
Or the
that
right
one is just
moment.
that
Yes, or the
the
right
right
moment.
moment,
So,
the right
personally,
moment. Yeah,
I'm a storyteller at heart. Like, it's just me, but I love to talk it.
I
So
didn't
now
know that. I'm just kidding.
to I didn't know it either. Like, honestly, I don't know a lot of stuff about myself until somebody actually tells me and gives me proof of examples. I'm like, "Oh, that's how I show up. Okay,
Yeah,
great
I
to
agree.
know. Thank you." So, storytelling apparently is one of them. But then when I put it on paper and need to share it, oh, it can sit on that paper for a whole season before it goes out. Similarly, sometimes that shows up for me when I'm sending an email. I'm like, okay, I got everything out, but now I got to go over it. How does this flow? Especially when I gotten feedback that my emails can cut like a knife. I'm like, all right, well, now I got to see is my message what I tend it to be. And that
Yeah.
is something that sits with you. You don't even realize it sits with you until you're like, well, how long have I been looking at this thing? I got to send it. I got other things to do. But it can
I'm
stop you. It
waiting.
stops.
Yeah, because you're waiting for that perfect moment. And so that those are the two types of perfectionism that I know the best, right? Is
You. Mhm.
waiting for the perfect moment. I don't have it together yet. I'm not sure. I don't want to tell anybody. I remember with my consulting business, I don't know what the fuck I was waiting for, but I I I don't know. Like you're waiting for like some magic moment that you're like, "Oh, now just go. Just do it." Just the classic Nike. So there any other types of perfectionism that you know of while we're on our what phase of the podcast?
The other piece is the fear of failing.
Mm. I think we have one on failure. So we're going to hold that. We're going to have a
All right.
whole podcast on
So,
failure.
all right.
Yeah.
So and we'll
Yeah,
hold it
cuz
on
that's a
that.
big one.
But it's
Yeah, yeah, but
huge.
I agree. That's a flavor of the perfectionism is the fear of failure.
That part. And
Yes.
the only reason
Yeah,
I bring it up is for me, that perfectionism is
is what drives
if you
that.
don't it's what drives that, right?
Yeah.
And, uh, that if you don't put it out there, I think it still goes back to what we were just talking about, but
Yeah.
it's not necessarily judgment. Is
Yes.
that you're gonna learn from it. Understanding that there's learning that comes from it. So,
Yes.
you don't always have to be perfect, but
Right.
yes,
You can
that
learn from it. Yeah.
could learn from it.
So let's talk about like why is this important? And because we just started to touch on it a little bit, in that
Mhm,
it holds you back. So
mhm,
my experience with perfectionism was two things. One, because I couldn't be empathetic with myself and compassionate with myself, it was impossible for me to be empathetic and compassionate for anyone on my team that was not achieving perfection, right?
mhm,
So
mhm.
if you weren't running as hard and as fast and uphill like I was, you
Right.
just weren't doing it. And so for me, that started to show up one in my own anxiety and inability to move out of my own way, but also in the way that I was treating other people. So that's one way it showed up for me. How's it showed up for you?
For me is similar from a team perspective, combination team and my clients, right?
Yes.
If I am coaching and if I am supporting you in your growth and I am telling you the thing that needs to be done, and if I'm telling you, go ahead and send the email. If I'm telling you, go ahead and move forward with that project, part of the project, and let's see what we learn from it. How can I be then a hypocrite and have some of those same challenges myself if I'm in coaching you to do what I need to do. So
Yes.
for me, it was so many of my clients or team members will say, she will literally say, "Oh, I'm doing that myself." Like, I am doing the same thing I'm coaching you on. You are not by yourself in this. Trust me.
Yeah.
I'm only speaking to you
From
from experience.
experience. Yes, and that's the other thing, like, I say this all the time, like, I am not here preaching to you all white from the pulpit, right? I fucked it up, like, I got it wrong, I got called into HR, I, burned myself out,
Right.
like, in the one thing that I don't wanna talk all negative about perfectionism because it is what allowed us to do
To
what we
be
did. Our drive to make it
to where
perfect
we are. Yes.
is what allowed us to move very fast, produce a lot
Mhm.
of stuff, and
Mhm.
really change an industry. Because you do kind of need that drive a little bit, but it can get toxic.
You do, but it's from what perspective, right? My perfectionism came from, I don't want to hurt a thing, if that even makes sense. Like, I don't want, if I am rolling this thing out for our customers, I want to make sure
Right.
that the experience is what I
Is the
would
best.
want and it's the
Right.
best, right? If it's,
Right.
I'm rolling
Yeah.
out something that has an impact on a student or their parents, I wanna make
Right.
sure that it does not impact their academic outcomes. I wanna make sure it
Yeah.
actually enhances it. So, it comes from
Yes.
a place of service and a place
Yeah.
of, um, wanting folks to know I'm there with you. I'm not
Yeah.
against you.
Yeah.
So, I think that's the piece that always stood out for me is the
Yeah.
end user.
Yes. And I think even for me, like the perfectionism was really about, yeah, it was making it good, making sure we thought about everything, make sure we had a good process, we weren't going to walking into any problems. But there was also like I had to learn that it was okay to make mistakes. It was okay not to have had it figured out. It
Yep.
was okay to screw it up. But the key, and you talked about this too, but the key was it was okay as long as you learned. You
Please
don't get
learn
to just
from it.
please learn from it. You don't get
Build,
to just screw up.
build it, refine it, repeat,
Yes.
refine
Pick it back
again.
up.
You
Yes.
don't have to wait for it to be perfect, but you gotta do those steps. And
Yes.
critical,
And
critical.
those are the critical steps. And I talk about this in, Amazon's famous fail fast, right? I can't tell
Mhm,
you how many
mhm,
companies I have consulted with that are
uh-huh.
like, I'm like, what's going on here? We have like 9 failed projects. The customers are unhappy. The order system's down. The website's flaky. Inventory is out of sync. What's happening here? We're failing fast. But
Second
you
part of
gotta
that, you gotta
is
fix it.
learn.
You learn, but you also fix it. Like, you don't just let it break.
Learn. It's fail fast and learn. So many companies just leave off the other end, right? They're just like, we're failing fast. Here's the truth. You're just failing. That's all you're doing. You're not failing fast. You're just failing. It's the learn part.
But that, for me, with my clients, I talk about, all right, what are we prioritizing? What are the
Oh
actions?
yeah.
What is the progress over waiting for the ideal conditions? Like,
Right.
the action piece is so
Let's talk
important.
about that. Let's talk about the how do you get past this? So go ahead, kick us off because you're kind of talking about, there's a concept of an MVP. How do you test and learn? Like, what talk to us about that.
Sure, absolutely. Because here's the thing, perfectionism can lead to procrastination. We know that.
Yes.
But
100%.
it is embracing that freedom where you're like, "Okay, here's my step in the process.
Yep.
Alright, I've rolled out this initiative. This is the solution that we have chosen to build. Great. I'm a firm believer you test along the way. In some instances, you write your code, you build, you do all the things to the end, and then you start testing. I don't
Right.
believe in that. I
That's
believe
waterfall.
in
That's bullshit.
correct. I believe in you take you do part 1, let's
Yep.
test it. How did it work?
MVP
Now
test.
part
Yep.
2, test,
Yep.
did it work with part 1? Don't just
Yeah.
test part 2. Like,
Yes.
you gotta make sure that it's
Is
connecting
it
and
backward compatible?
correct,
Yes.
correct.
Oh
And
yeah.
now it's
Oh, honey, you're speaking my language now because my other passion is DevOps, right? And because I've seen some bad DevOps, but yeah. And then the other thing that people don't get, you've got me on my topic now. I'm gonna have here we got another one coming. Here we go, DevOps. Here's the thing: when you do the waterfall model, okay,
mhm,
and Wagile, wet agile,
all
whatever
of it.
the agile
All the
fall, whatever you're calling it,
yep,
it's waterfall. If it is not agile, it's binary. Okay.
yes.
What happens when you do that? Is you spend all this time, resource, and money to build something, and you have no effing idea if it works.
Not a
If
lick.
you have no fucking idea.
And then you come to the deployment and you're like, oh, but we have so many bugs. What are you talking about? How are you not ready for deployment?
2 years later, we got this pile of shit, and everybody's been working on their asses off on it. They all think it's fucking fantastic. Oh, I cannot tell you how many times. And if we had just broken it into either, even, we don't even have to go to 2 weeks, honey. Let's just go to 6 months. Quarterly releases,
Thing.
we would have found so much faster.
And if you actually hear from me is when the team does it alone. So
Yeah.
wait, you didn't work with the business partner? You didn't
Oh,
work
yeah.
with
That's another
to
one,
then
too.
actually do user testing? Like what is
Yeah.
really going on here?
Right.
Like that for me is nothing but solid
That's
failure
That's a whole other conversation. That goes right back to my there is no tech without business. And I will stand on that
all day.
for the rest of my life.
All
And
day.
I have gone to task on that one many times. But yes. So when we talk about even in biz dev, right? Even or not biz dev, even in tech dev, there's this concept of embracing not perfect. It's an MVP. It's not right. We know it's not right, but we're going to take the opportunity to learn, test, and refine as we go.
And here's the thing, and it may be my experience from Amazon, but I took that into working in schools. Like,
Yeah.
listen, you don't know, you can't, one thing I know for sure, you can't control people and you can't control what
And you definitely
action
can't
they may
control
take.
kids.
So no matter what structure or process that you set up, it is going to require continued refinement because you are not going to catch that, oh, that student's going to run from this bus line and take
Yeah.
off that way.
We're going to want to
So
ride with your friend. There, yeah.
there's so many unknowns of even how a parent may show up in the front office on a day that was not good for them and what actions they
Yes.
made. You can't control for all of it. So you have to
Yeah.
plan for what is the 80% and be
Yep.
able to be agile to then handle what
Yeah.
other situations come up. You can't plan for perfect.
Yeah. Yeah,
Stop.
you cannot plan for perfect, you can't. And another kind of epiphany I personally made here recently, I was recording the 50th episode of the podcast, like, wow. And thank you. And I realized that the podcast is actually my daily practice in letting go.
Amen. Yes.
It's my daily practice in not being perfect because I intentionally made it not to be perfect. And I didn't
Amen.
really realize I was doing that when I was creating all this, right? I just knew I was like, I'm not messing with all that shit. But it is actually like a daily practice in letting go, not being perfect. Sometimes the stuff is messed up, sometimes it's not. Like, it's all good. The content, the meat is what matters.
That's true. But here's the thing in that, Kim. The fact that you are just comfortable. And being yourself in these conversations makes it easier for the conversation to flow. So
This is true.
you are doing me a service, and I'm sure all your other guests, to make it a comfortable place to just be able to talk.
Just to be yourself,
That's it.
right? You don't have to be perfect. Yeah, and you know what? I didn't even realize I was doing that, but you're right. Because my guests don't if I showed up in full makeup and hair every time, you would have thought that you had to show up in full makeup and hair. And if it was scripted, yeah, and we all know it ain't gonna happen.
Mm.
And then if it was scripted, it would not. Yeah, interesting. Thank you for sharing that.
No, absolutely.
Excellent.
Even today, imperfectionism, right? Literally, you
Mm.
message me and I'm like, "Oh, sugar, I'm not gonna have time for that before getting on this call because I'm in class."
But
But imperfect, and I was like,
but that's the
"Oh, it's
point.
perfect. That's exactly what we're talking about. Freedom
It's
from
exactly what
having
we're
to be
talking about.
ready.
Yeah, just
Be
do
just
it.
be ready.
Just do
Just
it.
do it. Be
Just do it.
ready. You don't have to
And
get ready."
you don't have be ready, just do it. And here's the other thing I want to leave people with is that part of the just do it, the just try it, is it's not forever. It is not written in stone. When I started this podcast, I was paying my production team by the week because I did
Mm.
not know if we were going to make it past a week or 2
Right.
weeks or 3 weeks. And then I started paying them by the month because it was working out. So my point is that just do it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just try it, and if it doesn't work, you can stop. You
That
can
part.
pivot. You can learn. You can change direction. It's okay. You're not married to it.
Correct. Can I give you the 3? I did take time to write 3.
Yes. Let's hear them.
Here's the here's the 3. Number 1, embrace iteration and continuous improvement.
Yes.
Number 1. So, I said earlier, build, refine, repeat. That's it.
That's
Embrace
it.
it.
Yep.
Number 2, take ownership of failures and see it as feedback. Feedback is a gift. It is a
Opportunity
gift.
to learn.
Oh
Yes.
my gosh. Not judgment, a gift. All right.
Yes.
And then number 3, prioritize action and progress over waiting for ideal conditions. It's
Yes.
okay.
It's
One,
okay.
step one,
Learn,
actions.
stumble, fall.
Yes. And
It's
then
okay.
stand back up. Anything that
Keep
falls must
going.
stand back up.
Excellent. All right, that's all for Tiana and I today. Thank you for turning in. We will be back next week with another Freedom series. We don't know what that's going to be because we're just making it up as we go. We will
Let's
see
do
you
it.
soon. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye.